Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Drawing with Lacey. This week's going to be a little different. We're not doing houses today. We're instead going to draw blind contour portraits. So if you want to grab a mirror or use a webcam or find a buddy to draw them, we're going to be focusing on faces today. So just two things that we're going to focus on is practicing drawing without looking at what we're drawing, and also trying to draw in a single line without picking our pencil or pen up. So we're gonna give ourselves a couple challenges, a couple constraints, but I think you'll really be pleased with the way they turn out, or at the very least, you'll have a good laugh. So go ahead and grab your materials, or if you just want to watch, today should be a gut buster for laughter. So yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here, and we'll get started. All right, so we've got our supplies all ready. And this time, instead of how we usually do it in landscape, we're going to do it portrait angle, right? So it's going to be taller instead of wider. And I think just for the purposes of our project today, this will be a little easier to work with. I would also suggest, if you're going to use something like paints, that you have your brush really wet. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the line as you're going through, and it might make a cool effect, but it might also be really annoying. You might lose half of your picture as you're drawing it. So blind contour, two sort of components of this is that as much as you can, you try not to lift your pen or pencil or crayon off the page, and you don't look at what you're drawing. So if you're using a mirror, you keep focus on the mirror. If you're looking at your friend, you keep looking at them. So let's get started, and we'll try twice. So if you don't like the way it turns out the first time, you can always, these are easy, you can do them multiple times. So let's get started. All right, so my strategy is to start with my eyes. Just because they kind of have a lot of detail and often sort of set the stage focus-wise for what you're drawing. I will say this is a really great activity for getting you to focus on what you're drawing. So if you're new to drawing, this is a great way to build skills. And if you've been drawing for a long time, it's kind of a way to reset your work. It's also really hard to focus on drawing a blind contour while also talking. So if it gets kind of goofy, you'll know why. So you can see as I'm doing this, right, I'm not lifting my marker. I'm just going for it, and I'm sort of just following the details of my face as best as I can without looking down. And it's, as you can tell, it's a little bit comical the way it turns out. And if you're new to this, you can go as slow as you want. You can go super slow. Part of the exercise is to get you to sort of have your pen follow your eye. So, you know, as you're looking over your subject, whether it's you or your friend or your model or whatever, you know, you're kind of letting your pen go as your eye goes. So now I'm doing the top of my head. I'm gonna try and bring it around naturally so I can get back to my nose, because I forgot my nose. And here we have our little kitty friend, but I'm doing this, come on, out of here. Morty wants his portrait drawn too, but that's just not gonna happen today. All right, so I think I've got the nose just about done. And here we go. And since I'm talking, I'm gonna have my mouth open a little bit in this image. If you want to have a friend be drawn, you can have them make a funny face, and that often turns out really interesting. Okay, so I think I've got most of my face here. So I'm gonna bring on down to my neck, and I'm just gonna draw about the tops of my shoulders. No need to draw your full body. That might take a really long time, but if you want to try that at some point, I think that could be a really fun exercise. So I'm drawing the collar of my shirt, bring that down, kind of get the details. You can kind of get wrinkles in your shirt. Okay, and I want to make sure that I'm not bald, so here's a good spot to start your hair. Mine's kind of fun because I have it up in a little top knot here. And if you know someone with curly hair, that is really fun to draw. I just have kind of boring straight hair, but if you have curly hair, you can get all those curls in there. All right, so really fast and easy, right? And it actually kind of looks like me. If you want, you know, to have a good laugh, if you're feeling low, you can always draw a blind contour of yourself, and you'll be definitely entertained. So remember, you don't look at what you're doing. You know, you keep that continuous line if you can. Sometimes you have to lift up your pen or pencil, and that's okay. So let's try another one, and I'm gonna try starting with a different spot other than my eye, so you can kind of see how it all works out. So we're gonna put that off to the side. Worked out really well. And these are really fun too, because you can kind of do all sorts of different colors. You can layer things, and sometime we'll try doing some layered looks. All right, so get ready. We're gonna try this again. So if you need to get your wiggles out before you get still to draw yourself, let's try this again. So I'm gonna, instead of starting with the eye, I'm gonna start with my mouth. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm gonna do it with my mouth closed. All right, so now that I've got my lips, I can start talking again. So one of the other things about this exercise is it really kind of brings you to a humble place, and also teaches you to sort of put your focus really in the work you're doing, right? Because you can't really, I mean, I guess you could erase if you want, but it's really forcing you to sort of live with the weird, sort of strange aspects of drawing. And I think also it creates some really surprising results. So maybe you, in the process of drawing, you know, this blind contour, you learn something about the person you're drawing or yourself. I know that when I do this with friends, I really learn to see parts of their face that I sometimes miss or haven't paid attention to in a while. So we've got the nose, one eye down, and I'm wearing glasses, so that adds a little bit of visual interest, I think, but you could, if you're worried about how the glasses are going to turn out in your portrait, you can always take them off. Or, I mean, I guess if you need them to see, you know, if you're farsighted, you know, that might affect your drawing, which could be interesting if you wanted to try that. All right, so I think we got most of the face done, so now I'm just kind of going in and drawing my hairline, and I'll get my ear. I think I forgot my ear last time. Sometimes it's kind of fun to forget parts of your body, so sometimes I've forgotten to draw the mouth. All right, bring it over to that other ear. And I have no idea how this is looking, so you guys might be really getting a chuckle out of this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my hair next. All right, bring it up, get kind of some, even if it doesn't have like obvious texture, you can always kind of add texture. Add as much detail as you want. So here I'm sort of, you know, where my hair is pulled, I try and add a little bit of the texture there. If you want to do little flyaways or little tiny hairs too, that can add some interest. Add as much detail as you want, because I think honestly the more detail you add, the more interesting this can get. All right, so now I'm down at the shirt neckline. I can't remember if I actually did my neck already, so we might come up for a surprise here. All right, so that's done. I decided to finish there. So you can see, you know, I'll bring up the other one. You can kind of see the difference that each drawing has, right? So when you start with the eyes, you know, you might end up with a different effect than if you start with your mouth. And you can kind of see the similarities in both there too. So blind contours, I hope that you have a chance to try this. It's a great way to practice all those skills and really, you know, get your eye focused, even if it doesn't always appear the way you want it to on the page. I just think they're so interesting, right? So if you try this, I would love to see what you've done. So, you know, get in touch with me. You can find me at my Facebook page, Drawing with Lacey, and share your blind contour portraits. I think it'll be really cool to see. So see you next time.